Okay, so I mentioned in some of my presentations this week that we would do some Chapter 15 and Chapter 16 problems, and my mind was somewhere else because there are no Chapter 15 financial planning problems. There are only review type questions for Chapter 15. So this, as you see, is Chapter 16, Investing in Bonds. If I go back to my Chapter 15 kind of end of chapter summary type stuff here, there is nothing like that. There's just review this is Chapter 15. There's just review questions and no financial planning problems, right? These are the online exercises, but there's no financial planning problems, especially here. There's none assigned, so I just misspoke when I said that. Let's go here to Chapter 16 and do a couple of our math-like problems here from Chapter 16. Let's look at number 4, first of all. So number 4 here says, Katie paid $9,400 for a Ginnie Mae bond with a par value of $10,000. Okay, and then continuing up here, and a coupon rate of 6.5%. 2 years later, after having received the annual interest payments on the bond, Katie sold the bond for $9,700. What are her total tax consequences if she is in a 25% marginal tax bracket? Now, this is a little bit ambiguous here, but when they say what are her total tax consequences, what they're really asking for, to try to clear up the ambiguity, what they're really asking for there is how much in tax over the total time she held the bond, 2 years, does she end up paying? Now, hopefully, if I was going to ask you something like that, I'd be more clear that that's the bottom line of what I'm asking, but that's what they mean here. All right, so here's what she did. She bought it for $9,400, and it went up to $9,700. So here we say number 4. Okay, so she bought the bond for $9,400. I'm going to say at $9,400. Sold at $9,700. Well, that's a $300 capital gain, right? We talked about capital gains and capital gain taxes back in Chapter 4. Right? She bought it at 94, it went up to 97. That's a $300 capital gain. Then the important question with capital gains tax is how long did she hold it? So the gain is $300. So the tax on the gain is 300 times what? Well, if she held it for under a year, then it would be a tax rate of 25% because that's her marginal tax bracket. But she held it for more than a year. It says 2 years later, right? So that means the 25% is not the tax rate. It's the 15% capital gains tax rate for a long-term capital gain. So here her tax is 300 times 15%, which is 0.15, and that's $45 in tax. All right, fair enough. Well, of course, that's only part of the tax obligation here. It says what are her total tax consequences? What's the other thing that you get from holding a bond? You get those interest payments that come in the form of coupons, right? And coupons, in this case, are paid once a year. Sometimes coupons are paid biannually, twice a year, or semi-annually, twice a year. Sometimes they're paid annually. These are annually, okay? It says here, 6.5% after having received the annual interest payments. Well, how much did she get in those coupons, right? How much of those interest payments did she get when she got one of those a year? What's relevant here is the par value, the $10,000 par value. So we'll say 10,000 times, times the coupon rate of 6.5%. So that's 0.065. Okay, and that's $650. 2 times, right? She got 2 of those, so $1,300 for 2 years. And now, what's the tax rate on that? Here, her marginal tax rate does apply. This isn't a capital gain. This is ordinary income, the coupon payments received on bonds. So 25% marginal tax bracket. So we'll take this. And then each year you can multiply it by 25%, or you can do the total here for the covers the 2 years, multiply by 25%. What's 25% of 1,300? I should be able to do that in one in my head, right? Well, just to make sure, we'll do 1,300 times 25. Got the calculator out here, see? 1,300 times 25 is, whoops, that's too many. 1,300 times 0.25 is $325. All right. If you add those together, the 45 and the 325, that's $370, and that's the total tax that she ends up paying over the 2 years, and that's kind of the answer they were going for, but if you understand what the different pieces are and how they're laid out, then you'll be fine. All right. I'll go to part 2 here, and then I'll give you numbers 8 and 9 where I want to do bond valuation with the financial calculator, so I got that out for us already. Okay, I'll post that one here too.